Welcome to Fiery Discourse, your podcast and media featuring dragonesses, female dinosaurs, and other similar saurians and scalies. I'm your host, Ludmillanon, and with me are my co-hosts, Angron, Mathmachine, LuckyEevee, and Stryker, and our special guest, Sharvoun. Today is our 27th episode, and we're discussing 2018's Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom for our first ever theme month of Jurassic July. So, let's get things started. Now, in the last episode, I said that Jurassic World was basically the perfect ending point for the franchise. But of course, it made a ton of money, so
The chart says we need to make another movie. The chart says we need to make another trilogy.
You need to make more trilogy, and they made sequels. And the sequels got progressively worse, in my opinion. This used to be my least favorite. The key word to that is least favorite, because I can admit that this has some pretty decent, good moments in it. That Absolutely. Is really not the case for Dominion, but we'll get to that. That interesting experience, to say the least, next week. Mm-hmm. And one of these good moments, I feel, it's just the opening of the movie.
Yes!
It begins with a bathysphere slowly entering the remains of Jurassic World. We get to see the Mosasaurus underneath them, and it's revealed with lightning striking the water. That's a really cool shot.
Yeah, the shot. I also love the shot of the light getting closer and closer, brighter and brighter. I'm a big sucker for movie making and stylized cinematography, and I'm just gonna say this up front. While the movie itself is not that great, with good moments to spare, one of the highlights is the cinematography done by Oscar Fuara. Like,
it definitely looks good. Yeah, it definitely is a good-looking movie. Which
unlike movies like Batman Begins, where like the cinematography is a little goofy.
Sometimes in the next movie, the cinematography kind of takes a tumble in a way, but that's one of the things we'll talk about that week. So anyway, we're following a group of InGen workers as they're on the island to basically collect the dinosaurs and whatnot. And we finally get to see Rexy again. She chases down the workers in another really cool sequence, and she smashes the device keeping the gates fully open or closed with her, of course, dinosaur talons. And this is a really cool moment. The part where one of the workers is being chased by Rexy. He just barely manages to make it on the helicopter ladder as they go out. And then the Mosasaurus leaps out of the water and just gets him. That is a moment that deserved a way better movie than the rest of this movie that we got.
Although I will say, it's kind of weird how... Has Rexy been putting on some weight, because she's getting slower? Like, and the first one,
she is a lot older than it does take place a couple of years after Jurassic World, which took place several years after Jurassic Park. So it does kind of make sense in the universe.
I also love how they introduced Rexy with the flash of lightning. Like,
exactly. Like, it is another really cool shot in a way.
Yeah, like, it's like, peekaboo, I'm here, and I'm gonna get you, fucker.
And she doesn't, but the Mosasaurus does, which, again, is probably one of the two highlight sequences of the movie. The rest of the movie, I can kind of take or leave, but this is one of them. So anyway, after the opening titles, which are flooded by lava, which is, of course, foreshadowing for later.
The lava CG does not look that great. This was a movie that was made very recently, and I'm like...
Yeah, really? There are some really dodgy effects, especially when we actually get onto the island with the lava effects later on.
I'm actually going to put a pin on that, because I want to compare that to another film, but we'll get to it when we get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a little bit. So we find out that, of course, after the first Jurassic World, the theme park Jurassic World has been shut down, which is obvious. But it also turns out Isla Nublar is going to be destroyed by a volcanic eruption, which... This is really stupid, because it means even if everything with Jurassic World was functioning perfectly and they never made the Indominus Rex and, killed all those people and whatnot, Jurassic World would have been doomed anyway.
Jesus, John Hammond, what are you really that bad at planning things out?
Well, we find out a lot more about John Hammond later on and his business associates. Let's put it that way. That definitely...
Insight. You're doing it wrong.
Definitely kind of... not ruin the first one, but it definitely doesn't click with it. So anyway, a bunch of people are arguing whether to save the dinosaurs or let them die out. And it's here where we cut to Ian Malcolm, who shows up basically leading a committee to let the dinosaurs go extinct. And the reason I bring this up is because literally all of the marketing in 2018 promoted the hell out of Ian Malcolm returning. all
And
the marketing. He did stuff like
Blue.
Hot Ones. He did a bunch of other media appearances. He was on even stuff like Honest Trailers and things like that. And they promoted the entire movie by showing his scenes, and they made it seem like he was a huge part of it. He's in the movie maybe
how many minutes is he in the movie?
Five
maybe?
Minutes. About 5 minutes. And like I said,
no,
that was false advertising.
That was false advertising. That was stupid.
I was annoyed at this when I first saw the movie.
Malcolm in the first movie.
Honestly,
chaos theory.
And in the next movie as well.
Honestly,
if you ever seen the ads for this movie, literally every single bit of dialogue they use for the ads to try and make it seem like he was actually relevant to the movie.
And like a main character, whereas instead of he really is just a glorified cameo, but it's the movie studio trying to make it seem like he was a major character. And I remember
they don't even have him say anything relevant. Like our line, I just thought of a line he could have said. Like he could have said something like, "You can't control nature. You can try to control it, but you can't control nature." Which is basically, spoiler alert, what the villains are trying to do. Like,
they're trying to control nature.
And we will definitely,
Yeah, and in the words of, and overall to sum this entire thing up with Ian Malcolm just being there and whatnot, like being advertised and then being like, nope, just a cameo. To quote Ian Malcolm from the first movie.
That really was annoying.
It's an over-glorified cameo. It was disappointing.
And that, my friends, is chaos theory.
Yeah, maybe Ian Malcolm, maybe Ian Malcolm, maybe Jeff Goldblum looked at the script and was like, no, I am not doing this. I'm gonna screw this. I'm gonna go do Thor Ragnarok because that's chaos theory.
But counterpoint, he did do Jurassic World Dominion, so that's a counterpoint. But anyway, finally getting on with the movie, we get to see Claire now working for a dinosaur preservation group, and the human drama, which already in the first Jurassic World, was like kind of take it or leave it. In this movie, it is near insufferable because now we're introduced to the two new characters, Franklin and Zia. Zia is okay. I'm sorry, I hate to say this, but I really disliked Franklin. He is one of the most annoying.
Because I hated him too.
He is one of the most annoying characters, probably in the entire franchise. I mean, people don't like the Kirby's from Jurassic Park 3, but at least the Kirby's, they had good chemistry with each other and they had a lot of fun.
Honestly, they ended up being an adorable couple in the end.
Yeah, exactly. Franklin just brings nothing to the movie. You could actively remove Franklin from the movie and nothing would change in story, in structure, and what happens to the characters, and nothing.
No disrespect to Justice Smith.
Of course, no, definitely not. No, we're definitely not. It's not the actor's fault. It's
watch Detective Pikachu. He can be funny. I actually didn't mind Franklin. I thought, there were times when I thought he was fine, but I see your point. But if I'm like, watch Detective Pikachu or Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves. That's him at his best.
Honestly, this is a good demonstration. Yes, he is. He was really good in both of those movies. In fact, I would say watch Dungeons and Dragons. That's better than this movie.
And it has a good dragon in it. Although sadly, the dragon is not a dragoness, so we can't really discuss it on the podcast.
Honestly, that's unfortunate, but still.
Yeah, we find out that despite the Claire's and the dinosaur preservation group's efforts, the government agrees to let the dinosaurs die out. So then Claire is summoned to Mr. Lockwood's mansion, and Lockwood turns out to have been Hammond's business partner to help create Jurassic Park. And
played by James Cromwell.
Yeah, a great actor who. Yeah, he was the farmer in
James Cromwell was the farmer from Babe, one of my all-time favorite movies, nominated for an Oscar. I love this actor, but
this just slides off my brain. All the scenes with Mr. Lockwood are like it does not stand out. It really, really does not. And of course, now we get to see the villain of the movie, Eli Mills, and he is almost identical to Ludlow from Lost World. It is like they took that movie and just made him, put him in this one. This is actually
probably my biggest complaint of the movie. Like, this is just the Lost World, except Jeff Goldblum. Like, this is just mostly
and the similarities do get even more so later on.
Honestly,
with dinosaur action later on. It becomes very much like Lost World. which is a shame because maybe if Jurassic World Dominion was more like Jurassic Park 3, then maybe the movie would have been a little better.
Yeah,
but I will say one thing I do like is Mr. Lockwood's mansion, like him having like a gigantic museum of like dinosaurs and dinosaur fossils and whatnot. It looks cool. It looks like a really unique setting. But again, they don't really do anything with it.
That is every little boy's wet dream right there. Dinosaur bones. Like, I want to see more of that.
Exactly. It's like, having a dinosaur museum in the house. And of course, it turns out Blue is on the island, and they need her for her intelligence. But of course, Eli has other plans. And to get to Blue, Claire needs to get Owen back. And then we get to the relationship drama scene between Claire and Owen, which is boring as hell. And I actually wanted to fast forward through it because it really accomplishes nothing.
Universal, I want to ask you this. Please answer me this one simple question. Why do you want us to see these two characters again, like with Ian Malcolm and with not Ian, with
Alan Grant and Ellie
Sattler's breakup? It's fine, and they're civil about it, and it makes sense. But with Owen and Claire, it's like they've established that they've broken up before. They got back together, and then they've broken up before. This is not healthy. This is not healthy relationship. They do not deserve to be. They cannot be together.
Yeah, no, exactly. We understand. Yeah, they don't make for a very good couple, and you can kind of definitely see that in the actual movie.
I feel so bad for Bryce Dallas Howard because she seems like a very passionate performer who can.
Yeah, exactly.
She's never given.
She's given nothing to do. Like with a lot of the people in this, they're given really almost nothing to do. So now it turns out that there's an interesting dynamic because Owen wants the dinosaurs to die out and Claire wants to save them, but Owen is only interested in going to the remains of Jurassic World when he hears about Blue. And we do get one good, cute part of the movie where we get to see Owen and the hatchling versions of the raptors is absolutely adorable.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we got to see that, and I wish we saw more of it, but...
Honestly, the relationship between Owen and Blue is a highlight amongst the entire trilogy, in my opinion. Like I like how it shows they evolved the creature of the raptor to make it feel more real. Like it can be trained, it can bond.
Blue is the first raptor, really, since the first Jurassic World to have agency and to have a character, which makes it a shame how she's underused in both of the sequels, in both this one and Dominion. She barely has any screen time in both of them, and it is a shame. So in this scene, we're also introduced to the character of Maisie, who was later used for, in my opinion, one of the dumbest plot twists in cinema history, but we'll get to that later, so, no spoilers until we get to it. But Maisie and Lockwood, they do have
I'll have a thing to say about something later as well with Maisie.
Yeah, when we get to that. But yeah, Maisie and Lockwood, they do have a somewhat, sweet, grandfather-granddaughter relationship. But again, with the plot twist later on, it becomes interesting. But anyway, Owen...
I just feel bad for James Cromwell here because he's a very watch him in movies like Babe or L.A. Confidential or any other movie. He's a very compelling actor, and when he's with that little girl,
Green Mile.
Yeah, he's great.
When he is with that little girl, it is great. Also, a fun fact: the actress who played the nanny, Iris.
Yep.
That's actually the daughter of
Geraldine Chaplin. Yeah, Geraldine Chaplin.
Nice.
That's sweet.
Who actually played Charlie Chaplin's mother in the biopic with Robert Downey Jr.
And she's also in My Dinner with Hervé, another great movie. She's a very good actress, and again, they give her nothing to do, which is very common with actors in this movie.
Along with Rafe Spall, and especially with the next coming actor, Buffalo Bill.
I'm sorry, what did you say about her? What did you say about her in 1984? What film were you talking about there?
I think we were talking about the Chaplin biopic. That's what he was talking about. But anyway, we finally...
I'm talking to you. You said she also starred in 1984 or something, and then you blipped out a little bit.
Oh, me? I said she starred in My Dinner with Hervé, which is another really fantastic movie.
Oh, I
highly recommend that one, too. It's okay.
We're recommending a whole
moving on. We get to the InGen mercenaries, who are led by Wheatley, played by Ted Levine, and as as you said, I too cannot see Ted Levine without thinking of Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs. He will always be that character.
Honestly, Ted Levine is also given nothing to do, but unlike the other actors who are sadly like, okay, we give up, Ted Levine's like, okay, I'm given nothing to do.
Overact the hell out of this. Exactly.
But fuck it, I'm just gonna act the hell out of this. I'm gonna have a fun time. He's basically Stephen Lang from Avatar, if you don't take him seriously.
Exactly. He was gonna overact the hell out of this movie, and he is one of the better parts of it. But Franklin in this sequence, it really shows how kind of like a third wheel he is to this entire thing. The attempts at comedy, like with him putting on the sunscreen and whatnot, just really fall flat. And again, it's not the actor's fault. It's the way the character was written and directed. Mm-hmm. That is why Franklin is not really a good character, in my opinion. But what is good is we get to see the abandoned Jurassic World, which is a really fantastic set piece. And it's actually a shame we don't get to see more of it, because it would have been cool seeing stuff like the visitor center abandoned, seeing the stores, the restaurants, but we only get like fleeting little moments of it. And
we just get a brief look at the what was it, the main area? Like
exactly. We just get like the shopping area.
Yeah, the shopping area.
We get the control center, and that's really it. And of course the island itself, but we don't really get to see the other behind-the-scenes stuff, which at least the last Jurassic World and the last few Jurassic Parks got right. So it's kind of a shame they took a step backwards that way.
The one thing I will... There's also a great shot where they're looking through all the toys, and then one of them comes to life, and it turns out it's a Galgamitis that's alive, so that's a great moment.
I love little details like that.
I also, I will admit, I would have loved to see a bit more of the island, like do something like FNAF Ruin did, and like show a bit more of the place a little bit, and like in the ruinous area.
Yeah. So now Owen actually goes in the jungle and he manages to find Blue, but because it had been a couple of years since the events of Jurassic World, Blue doesn't recognize him at first, and just as he gets through to her, she's shot by the mercenaries, which again causes Zia to have to try to save Blue's life and remove the bullet, which happens later on. Meanwhile, Claire and Franklin are locked in the control room, and Franklin's freakouts reminded me of the iconic, "Oh no, it's boiling acid!" guy from Batman Forever.
It's boiling acid! All that's...
Exactly.
Unfortunately, all that's missing is an overacting Tommy Lee Jones, but at least we have an overacting Ted Levine to substitute
it. So that's a good trade-off.
Or Jim Carrey.
Good trade-off.
Jim Carrey makes everything good.
Yeah, exactly. And the volcano erupts just then, and of course, Buffalo Bill, aka Wheatley, I'm just going to call him Buffalo Bill to save time here, calls up Ely, and he wants more money for getting Blue, but Ely demands to bring the dinosaurs first. Maisie overhears this, and it's at this point where it's like, are you even trying to hide that this guy's the villain? It's like, at this point,
over the
it's
top,
so obvious, and over the top campiness. Like not even like Ludlow from Lost World was this over the top.
Honestly, it's and unfortunately, it's out of the actor Rafe Spall's control. And before you diss on Rafe Spall, again, like we said, not his fault. Watch Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. He is hilarious in those. I recommend those.
He's a great actor, but again, sadly, he's given nothing to do. But one thing that does bother me about this is the lack of scientific knowledge about lava, because Owen is knocked out and he wakes up as the lava is slowly coming to him. If lava was that close in your body, you would be dead. Your skin would boil alive, basically. You would not be alive if you were not in a radiation protection suit and you were that close to pyroclastic flow.
Judging by the scene that follows, I think this is just a film that runs on cartoon logic. By the scene that follows,
yeah, by the seat of their pants, no less.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that honestly makes me think of something. You know how in Godzilla Returns, the one with Ray Bradbury or Raymond Burr, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Godzilla 85.
Yeah, it makes me think if Godzilla mainly feeds on atomic energy and basically quote unquote heat, so to speak. So does that, and you're saying that lava is radioactive in a sense. So if anything, the scene from Godzilla King of the Monsters is honestly fairly valid because Godzilla going into a lava pit and people like unable and like Ken Watanabe's character surviving the lava just man,
that most likely would not happen either. That is also something that would be probably unrealistic. So anyway, speaking of the lava, as Claire tries to get contact with the outside world, the lava drips in, and I do like the scene where the dinosaur enters the room and tries to like attack them, and they have to escape by the skin of their teeth. Again, another good sequence, maybe because the darkness of the room mixed with the pyroclastic flow. It looks really cool, but again, they would be dead if they were realistically that close to lava.
Yeah. Also, how did they not notice that? How did they not notice that ladder before? Did they not do a proper scan of the room or something?
Probably not.
Okay, yeah, and also back to that lava thing about Godzilla. Like, they actually brought like I'm not saying it's fake. It was real. Like Ken Watanabe's character was legit going to like die in that lava a minute more.
Whoa, that is nuts. I mean, some of those old kaiju movies, they definitely did very hard on the actors, and we'll talk about that when we get to some more kaiju movies, which will be very sooner than you think.
Yeah, but again, with Ken Watanabe, with Godzilla King of the Monsters, this is 2019 or 2018, I forget which, but this is a recent film, and it shows an actual human going into a lava-filled zone where he honestly could have very well boiled alive at this point, but like he managed to survive just a little bit. Which, again, a little suspension of disbelief, but it very much shows the pain of going through lava, which is what immediately makes me think of that when you say that.
So I think this is as good a time as ever. I want to bring up another film for a sad reason. Have any of you, both in the podcast and listening, have any of you guys seen the movie Annihilation?
I have not.
I have not either.
Well, no, I haven't, unfortunately.
Well, for those who have, I just want to point out that film also used CGI, and that film only cost $40 to $55 million against Fallen Kingdom's $432 million.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. A lot of these big budget blockbusters are definitely overinflated, shall we say, with the budget. But again, that's Hollywood accounting and stuff.
The reason why I say that is Hollywood, I just want to ask you the question, with this movie that's obviously cheaper, how the hell if you look it up, how the hell do the effects in the cheaper film look a little better than these effects in the big budget movie? Like
Exactly. Yeah, you can definitely see, because the lava effects during this part, it looks a little bit shaky, and
honestly,
Yeah, but finally getting back to the story. Sorry about the little tangent there, but getting back to the story. Owen finally reunites with Claire and Franklin as they escape the eruption, and there is a pretty cool part where we finally get to see a dinosaur that has not been in any of the Jurassic Park movies previously, a Carnosaur, and I like it because it reminds me of the 2000 Disney CGI movie Dinosaur, which we are going to cover on the podcast sometime in the future, so look out for that. That'll be a lot of fun. But yeah, the Carnosaur attacking the Triceratops is a really neat sequence, and Rexy eventually takes down the Carnosaur is another fun part. And Claire and Franklin get into the gyrosphere from the last movie, which is still standing there, and it accidentally rose down the hill. And I will say this sequence is, on one hand, it doesn't make sense. On the other hand, it looks cool with all the dinosaurs fleeing from the eruption, basically trying to survive. It does look pretty good. It's a little bit like the Brachiosaurus chase from Peter Jackson's King Kong, another movie we'll get to eventually. But it is a really cool part. And Owen frees Claire and Franklin when the gyrosphere gets stuck underwater. And it turns out, of course, that InGen, the entirety of why they said they had to go to the island, was a lie. The dinosaurs are being airlifted to the ship while the rest are being left on Isla Nublar to die. And now we get to see Buffalo Bill's character quirk. He takes a tooth from every single dinosaur for a collection, which will come back to haunt him. And the next movie...
Another thing about this moment where the island gets destroyed, like, oh man, say what you will about the entire movie, but this moment right here...
This is heartbreaking, yeah.
Yeah, it's the sauropod getting
the Brachiosaurus wailing as it's being covered in ash and lava. It is legit heartbreaking. And if the movie had more time to focus on that, it would have been a lot better.
Honestly, also, first, three things. One, its whales were like, come back.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I feel so sad.
Second, it legit nearly made me cry. I wasn't like this was a legit
same. It is a sad moment and a
sad. Third, and probably the saddest fun fact. I don't know who started this rumor or what, but apparently that Brachiosaurus I was screaming, come back! That was the original one we were first introduced. That was actually the Brachiosaurus we were first introduced to in that iconic first scene of Jurassic Park. Like, I
did not know that. Wow.
It's even more heartbreaking. Like
that is really sad. If that's the case,
man,
wow.
If it's true, then that's even sadder. If not, that's still sad. But yeah,
like when it does.
Okay, I'll let you go first.
When it does that silhouetted standing on its hind legs, like it's
and it's trying like it posed in the original. Exactly.
It's like saying goodbye.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
However, I hate to juxtapose this entire position, but that brings up a point. What the heck happened to Elsa Sornar? Like, seriously, the entire Jurassic World trilogy. They're all saying,
they
no,
never
Elsa
mentioned Isla
Sornar.
Did the volcano also take out Isla Sorna because they had a lot more dinosaurs on that island?
No, for the big reason being, like, that island probably didn't have a volcano, allegedly. Like, I mean, it could have, but we don't know. However, like, nobody's explicitly saying, like, Ilsa Sornar is, like, legit a badlands. They're like, we don't know if the raptors there survived or not. We don't know anything, but however, I have reason, but until they dissuade it otherwise, I have reason to believe that, like, Ilsa Nublar was still and remains not the. Isla Sornar still remains one of the few dinosaur safe havens outside of Isla Nublar.
It very much could be, but again, they completely forgot about that. So now we actually cut back to Eli as he's dealing with an associate, and we find out Eli's evil plan, which is to sell the dinosaurs to the rich.
Wait a minute.
His whole evil plan, which is like, what?
What?
That's at least in like Jurassic World, Park Lost World, he wanted to build another Jurassic Park in that. This is like one of the most half-baked story concepts for a villain ever. That it's just like, he wants to get rich, but it's like that's the best you could think of. And
also, if you guys want to get even more pissed off, the associate who was talking to, the one who's so evil, that was the same guy who played Dobby in the Harry Potter franchise. He is literally talking to Dobby like, "Oh my God, Dobby, what the hell are you doing in this movie?"
Exactly. He
was
not a good. He should have not been a free elf in that case because I did not know that. But anyway,
it's a little sad too that like the dinosaurs are pretty much being sold off to the black market, literally, and it is.
It is, and the auctioneer scene later on is also. I have a lot of words about that, but anyway, Easy hears the scheme, and of course, the Jurassic InGen geneticists are going to make a new dinosaur, the Indoraptor, and I will say this: the Indoraptor is legitimately cool, and we'll get more about her when we get to her. But honestly, hears about the scheme, and she tries to tell Lockwood, who doesn't believe it and doesn't want to hear anything about it.
But Lockwood.
Yeah, she goes to Lockwood here.
Lockwood.
There goes all of that. There goes all of those wonderful moments where he's loving her. Like, dude, where did this guy come from?
Exactly. It's like they had no idea how to write him. It's like they had two different characters and decided to put that all in one person. Do you want him to be like a warm John Hammond type, or do you want him to be like a more colder, ruthless businessman type?
Like the original John Hammond, when you think about it.
Yeah, like the book. He's like a mixture between Hammond from the movie and Hammond from the book. Exactly. But back onto the boat. Blue needs a blood transfusion from another dinosaur, and Claire and Owen have to get it from Rexy. And at this point, we get to see like a Blue being after we see some hijinks with the blood transfusion, getting it from Rexy, which is
probably one of the few times they actually use animatronics in this movie.
Yeah, and it does look good. It does look good. I'll admit to that. The part where Blue sheds a tear at the surgery is legit touching, and honestly, the dinosaurs are better written characters than the humans at this point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Are. The characters are just the characters are just walking cartoons.
Exactly, they are. And of course, we finally get to see who creates the Indoraptor, which, surprise, surprise, is Dr. Wu, and he'll be back in the next movie too, of course.
I knew it. Never trust Liu Shang. Never trust Liu Shang from Mulan.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Honestly, with how cartoony, I would have expected Henry Wu to, when he's preparing the Indoraptor, he just says, "Let's get down to business."
Let's get down to business.
Oh God, yes.
Oh man.
Honestly, honestly, the whole point of the entire franchise, the entire book, the first film was simple: don't play God. Don't play God.
All the sequels, for the most part.
What are they doing?
Well, Jurassic Park Lost World is. 3 really isn't. 3 is just a
survival film.
Yeah,
it's a survival.
4 is definitely it. And of course, we have World, which is definitely like that, and Jurassic, and this, and Dominion, which are also about that. So now we get back to the Indoraptor, who we first see its claws grabbing at Maisie, which is really a fantastic way to create tension. And again, I feel like everything with the Indoraptor itself in the movie is well done. It is one of the better parts of the movie. Unfortunately, we are not there yet, as we still have to see Claire and Owen sneak off the boat, with Franklin pretending to be a deckhand when another not funny comedy relief scene. And they all
do they not believe in ID cards?
Exactly. It's like, they would just have this random guy who no one has seen before just show up and who doesn't know anything about boats.
It's like from Ghostbusters, that scene where Winston's introduced it and Venkman's like, "Awesome, you're hired. Now take care of these."
Exactly. It felt like that. Yeah. But of course, they all
remember that.
Exactly, yeah. They all return to Lockwood's mansion, and Lockwood finally finds out about Eli's intentions after all this time.
And he's like, "I'm gonna call the police on you." No, wait. That's what he should have been like. But no, he's like, I want you to call the police for me.
Exactly, but of course Eli doesn't, and he smothers Lockwood to death with a pillow, and it has that shot of his cane slowly tipping over in slow motion with the amber head shattering. It's almost comical how basically over dramatic that part is, to be honest.
Honestly, that cane shattering would have been more effective if it was showing John Hammond's death, if it was a death scene for John Hammond, he gives some touching final words.
And wanted instead of this, which is just something that is definitely out there.
Honestly, I was just sitting there watching it, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this meant to represent?
Yeah, it was meant to represent
the fall of an dumb rich asshole getting killed.
The titular fallen kingdom.
Of a once former great franchise.
Yep, the titular fallen kingdom.
Yeah,
it's meant to represent the writers thinking they are smarter than they really are.
Yeah,
exactly. That too. So,
honestly, if it was used better, like say for the death of an important character like Alan Grant, Ellie Sadler, Ian Malcolm,
someone like that, it would make sense. Yeah, but for a character who we've just met in the first in this movie, and we haven't even really had that much screen time with, it definitely falls flat. So,
honestly, James Cromwell should have been like, you know what? Screw this movie. I'm going to Big Hero 6.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So Claire and Owen are discovered and imprisoned. Maisie manages to escape from her room and find Lockwood's dead body. The part where Claire and Owen are in prison and they're next to a dinosaur and her hatchling is, again, a really nice sequence and could have been a lot better if it was in a better movie. But for what as it stands, this is one of the more nicer, understated sequences of the film. So now we get to the black market dinosaur auction, with the dinosaurs being sold off for the price of $10 to $20 million.
Another scene that would have been better in a better movie.
Yeah.
To me, That seems way too cheap for like some of the last remaining dinosaurs on Earth. Like
that should be $100 million at best.
Stegosaurus are like they are underselling it. How is Eli Mills going to make any money from this?
They should have been selling them for the price that would make Bill Gates bankrupt. Like
exactly.
Yeah, that would be
yes, exactly.
Yeah, that should be a price that could topple the entire world's economy. That is how special these dinosaurs are. They're just like 20 million? The fuck?
Yeah. But of course, yeah.
Although, if they acknowledge that these Sorna exists, like if it was just no volcano and it was just a dino smuggling thing, that would make sense. Like,
but this definitely does not. Yeah, I can definitely see where you're going with this. So anyway, we finally get to see the Indoraptor being unveiled at the auction, and
it looks cool.
It has a really cool design. I'm gonna admit, I like the yellow stripe going down its scales. It's a nice touch. And it's just as fierce as the Indominus Rex from Jurassic World, but it definitely has a different vibe to it. It's its own thing, basically. They took the Indominus Rex and they definitely used inspiration, but they also made it its own sort of appeal, which I do like that they didn't just make like a smaller version of the Indominus Rex, which they easily could have.
One thing I did
One of the best things about this movie was the Indoraptor.
Yes, it is easily the best part of it, and we are going to talk a lot more about how awesome it is in a minute.
One thing that did cheapen the effect was how they demonstrated how it works, like the laser pointer thing and then the button thing. Like, they should have just cut that out and be like, it's a killing machine. Like, or better yet, work with it differently, as I'll point out a little later, as for a scenario that should have happened. But let's continue.
What's gonna do? So anyway, we find people start bidding for the Indoraptor, but then Owen bursts into the auction room with the dinosaur that had helped free him, and he helped freed from his prison. And a Mission Impossible knockoff fight scene ensues, with like Owen, punching out the guards. That I'm like, this is just something Ethan Hunt would do. It's like, and we're gonna see a lot more knockoff stuff in the next movie.
That's where InGen just cut corners.
Yeah, they just had it's a shame they didn't do the dinosaur-human hybrid idea from what would have been Jurassic Park 4, but regardless, I'm glad we got... But regardless, we still have this. We still have the Indoraptor. So all the bidders basically flee the mansion in terror as the dinosaur runs loose, and then Wheatley, a.k.a. Buffalo Bill, enters the room demanding his bonus. And I kid you not, when he entered the room, the first thing I thought of was, he sounds like Patrick Starr. Where's my bonus? Or else I'm going to take these dinosaurs and push them somewhere else. It really does sound like Patrick Starr in that scene.
If it was the same voice actor, then that would be even more fitting. But oh my god!
If only it was Bill Fagerbaki, that would have been perfect. Because then the memes that would have come from it would have been great.
If it was in Jurassic Park 3, when they got to the voice chamber thing, he's like, "Is the voice chamber thing an instrument?"
If only they cast him. If only for the memes. But regardless, Buffalo Bill sees the Indoraptor and wants his toot. But I do like this sequence. This, again, is start of the build-up to the best part of the movie, in my opinion, which is the entire climax with the Indoraptor is easily the best part of the entire movie. It's a really cool scene with how smart the Indoraptor is and how, she toys with him before basically tearing his arm off. The part where she pretends to be asleep but opens her eyes and lets out a smile. It is an awesome part, and I'm really glad they did that because, again, the Indoraptor is the best character of the movie.
I would describe the Indoraptor as a Looney Tunes character that somehow got into a Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
Because that smile at the camera, from that point on, this creature is the most dramatic villain that has ever been in any of these movies. Like, if you like Vincent Price, Tim Curry, Jeremy Irons style overacting, that's this.
Would you dinosaur? Would you dinosaur? Would you FB?
So, I was gonna do it.
Also, the moments before Buffalo Bill's death, him whimpering like a baby, like a woman. He
definitely. To be fair, you would probably do that if a dinosaur just ripped off your arm.
But
so the Indoraptor,
and then hit. I like when the Indoraptor's tearing apart. I swear I heard him whine like, ah. But
I can definitely see that. I can definitely see that.
Absolutely.
So anyway, the Indoraptor.
Where I just say, well, there goes the best. There goes the only likable human character.
In the movie, exactly, or at least the most enjoyable human character of the movie. So the Indoraptor is let loose, and he kills He kills Eli's assistant and 2 other people in the elevator before it just runs loose. And again, the Indoraptor part is a cool sequence, but unfortunately, I do have to dox points because Eli finds Maisie, Owen, and Claire, and then the big twist is revealed. It turns out Maisie is not Lockwood's granddaughter. He is a clone of Lockwood's daughter as a child, which is
excuse me. Yeah. To quote Jontron, excuse me, what?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Excuse me, what?
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. It is.
Excuse me, what does that is stupid.
It's not the worst plot twist out there. It's minor, all things considered, but I don't hate it.
The way they came across, tried to infer that was just really awful, though.
It was.
Honestly,
it definitely takes me out of the movie.
What I find hilarious is how out of nowhere it is. Like he's like Rafe Spall is like, oh, come here, Macy. You guys are protecting her. She's a clone. Like, would you say that? Like why
nothing. Like, oh yeah, human.
Say that, like they actually went ahead with the dinosaur human hybrid, and she was one of the big successes.
It would have been less stupid. It actually would have been a lot less stupid if they did that than if they had, oh yeah, by the way, human cloning now exists in this universe. Have fun.
Like, what the hell could you even? And why he says it? He's like, you are a clone. Now come here. I expected Macy to be like, oh, you're
exactly. Like she's not like. I mean, she is shocked by it, but not to the extent that you would be if you found out that you're not an actual, born human being. You're a clone from somebody else. Exactly. But we find out that we go back to Zia finally, as it turns out she's chained to Blue's cage, but Franklin appears to save her, which is probably the only thing he really does in the movie.
Ranking Dr. Wu, which probably isn't that hard.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So Blue gets loose, and she does attack the entire security team in another good sequence. But now we get to the Indoraptor sequence throughout the mansion, which is a highlight of the movie. How it moves, how it attacks others. It's just the way it stalks them. It creates so much tension.
Although I will say, missed opportunity. They should have shown the Indoraptor killing that guy. He was lasered at. Like
but also, kind of a miss shot there.
Also, I had a better idea for Rafe Spall's death. Like, he has the gun, the Indoraptor shows up, he tries to direct the gun at our heroes to have it kill him, but the Indoraptor's like, yeah, you don't control me, and he kills Rafe Spall in cold blood.
You're the boss of me, Mom.
Like, tie in with the idea that you can't control nature, and that's what Rafe Spall's character was trying to do, and he learned the hard and most painful way possible. He has no control.
Exactly. But yeah,
also,
I do like the part with the Indoraptor where it's climbing the roof, and this is probably the best shot in the movie coming up. The part where Maisie is hiding in her bedroom and the Indoraptor creeps in, almost like, I kid you not, it really reminded me of like Nosferatu when Count Orlok is creeping up the stairs. It definitely seems like it was taken from that. That is the best shot of the movie, and that
is amazing.
The entire Indoraptor sequence deserved to be in a way better movie than this.
It's conspiracy theory time. It's conspiracy theory. That bedroom, all of Jeff Goldblum's scenes, as well as the bedroom scene, those were just shot for the trailer, and before they had any story, they just had those two scenes. They were like, make a trailer out of it. And they did. Like, if you notice, almost all of the shots completely hide the Indoraptor's face and design, except for the claw shot. You just have that claw shot, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, you have my ticket.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely seems, again, like something that they did just to get basically people interested. Although I will say it does work because it does a really good part. The part where the Indoraptor then, of course, Blue arrives to fight the Indoraptor is a great sequence, and the part on the glass of the roof is a great part. The Indoraptor almost falls to the glass, and then she climbs back up, and then we get Blue, who really is the hero of the entire movie when you get down to it, because she saves the day. She goes in for the kill, and the Indoraptor dies from being impaled on the dinosaur skeleton, which again is a nice use of the setting, and really wish they used it more. Because I like the parts like Maisie looking in the glass, and then the Indoraptor suddenly appears and attacks her through it. That's another good shot.
Honestly, honestly, that death kind of cheapens the Indoraptor, because the Indoraptor's not really the main threat of the entire film, like the Indominus Rex was. Like, if the whole film was a cat and mouse game between the humans and the Indoraptor, that would have been better, right?
Yes, much better. It definitely would have worked out. So anyway, the rest of the dinosaurs are trapped in the gate, which is slowly losing oxygen, and we are the big conundrum. Do we save the dinosaurs or do we kill them? Before Owen and Claire makes a decision, the gates are open because Maisie saves them because, and I quote, they're alive, like me, which is, number one, the most ham-fisted line since the ending of Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones with the little kid. Look at the faces, we're all the same, number one. And number two, that is an incredibly stupid decision in my opinion.
Oh, God.
She has doomed how many people to horrific deaths by dinosaurs, but the next movie sadly does not really follow up on that, but we'll get to that next week.
No, they didn't at all.
Honestly, that would have been a much more interesting movie to ask the question, how humanity would have adapted with these creatures coming back into nature.
Yep, and again, they give that lip service in Dominion, but we don't really get to see it. And Eli is killed by the T-Rex and the Carnosaur being torn in half, which was already reused in The Lost World, where the same thing happened to the character of Eddie there. He was torn apart by the mother and the father T-Rex being ripped in half in the exact same way.
You mean the mother and the daughter? Like,
No, the mother and the father T-Rex. There was like a male T-Rex and a female T-Rex, and they ripped them in half in Lost World Jurassic Park.
So basically, this guy is just a lamer version of the villain from The Lost World.
No, and he doesn't even die like the villain from The Lost World. He dies like one of the side characters from Lost World. They saved that again for their big villain death of this movie.
And honestly, I have two minds of this. One, it's fairly lame, like you say, because he is honestly just a stereotypical thing. It's just never really doing much outside of, oh, hey, I'm just gonna pay the shit and get rich and yada yada and all that stuff. However, I see a sort of hidden genius in his death. Keep in mind, most of the stuff he does, small potatoes. He's behind the scenes trying to pay things off. There are two things that ultimately come from the phrase, what comes around goes around this movie. The first is when Blue kicks the ass of the Indoraptor, and because she got saved by the others, and all that stuff. The second moment comes in the guy's death, which ultimately is symbolic of him wanting to do big things, pretty much be in the same breath as a Mona Lisa, to quote Glass Onion. But when it comes down to it, he's just another guy in a suit. He's another guy.
Actually, that is a very good point. I never thought of it like that, but that does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, but
so
if
Owen says,
if the whole auction scene was the first third and the rest of the 2/3 was just a cat and mouse game between all the humans and the Indoraptor while trying to unlock the house and trying to get out while avoiding the Indoraptor, that would have been a much more interesting movie. This film is trying to be
definitely seems
darker.
Like it would have been.
It was trying to be darker than the previous one, but
it didn't work.
It completely failed miserably.
It did not work at all.
But there is one good part of this. Owen basically says his goodbyes to Blue, although they do meet again in the next one, which we'll get to next week. And the movie ends with Malcolm basically saying the world will never be the same. And the brief shot of dinosaurs we do get, which include the part of the surfer being attacked by the Mosasaurus, which is another good shot, and again, was put in the trailer to make people think it happened earlier in the movie. They tried fooling people by showing literally the last scene in the movie to make
Who
it
cares
seem
about
like it happened earlier.
Who cares about Who cares about your entertainment? We just want your money. Give us your money.
Exactly.
To be fair, it didn't rob us. To be fair, it robbed us less than the Gem movie.
Yeah, true. Or like the Amazing Spider-Man 2, where they had, Peter gonna fight the Rhino, and that literally is the last scene in the movie, and that too. But yeah, that's it for what happens in Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Despite increasingly negative reviews, the movie was still a monster hit. I still don't like it, although after seeing Dominion, I am a lot more generous than I used to be.
Same.
Yeah, Dominion is woo. We are going to get to that when we get to that. But now it is time for the question of the week, which is...
Oh, wait, I remember. There was a post-credit sequence.
There was? I did not stick around to see it.
Pterodactyls at Vegas.
Yeah,
I did not stick around to see that. Yeah. This is the first time I'm hearing of it.
Pterodactyls were in Las Vegas. That was it.
Damn those scaly bitches.
That sounds kind of lame. Yeah. But anyway, it is time for the question of the week, which is, what do you think of Chris Pratt's career? Because it seems like every generation has an actor that just comes out of nowhere, is in absolutely everything for a stretch of time, and then just kind of vanishes. And I feel like Chris Pratt is going to be that kind of actor. Maybe he won't. Maybe he can transition into more serious stuff. I thought he did a pretty decent job with... Passengers, despite that movie, not being perfect or anything, but he did a decent job with his character in that. But for the most part, I feel like Chris Pratt is one of those actors who he's going to be... I don't want to compare him to that because he's not like that level, but he feels like someone like a Michael Dudikoff in that he's someone that's going to be huge for a short amount of time. And then like a couple of decades later, we're going to be like, this guy was in everything back then. And again, I'm not saying he's a bad actor because he's not. He's good as Star-Lord. He was good as Owen in the first Jurassic World.
He's good from Lego movie.
Yeah, he did a pretty decent job in the Mario movie, all things considered.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He did.
He did, but I feel like for the most part, I don't know. It's like sometimes you get these feelings about actors, you don't know where their career's going to go. Who knows? Maybe he'll pull like an Adam Sandler and have like an uncut gems in him that'll really show his talent. But as it stands right now, I feel like overall his career seems more focused on like blockbusters than anything else. It seems very precarious. It feels like the second his movies stop selling, like box office, gold tickets or whatever, is the second his movies stop being like, monster hits. I feel like he's going to be slowly disappear into the ether. But again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah. It seems like they're kind of already, they have this idea, so they're trying to transition him to voice acting with him being Mario and him being Garfield.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, he's going to be Garfield in the new Garfield movie.
He's going to be Garfield in the newest Garfield movie next year.
I am nervous, personally.
That is definitely a choice.
Yeah.
It is a wrong choice, but it is a choice.
Yep.
Okay. I mean, it could work. It worked with Mario, so it will work there. Anyways.
Maybe. I mean, you have to play by ear. But yeah, so what do you guys think of Chris Pratt as a whole and his career?
Okay, Sharvoun, you go first.
I'm going to be honest. Chris Pratt is one of those actors who I say he's best at playing Chris Pratt. He does it well, and honestly, the only when he's Star-Lord or when he's Owen Grady, he's just basically Chris Pratt. The only time where even when he's playing Mario, he's just being Chris Pratt. When he's playing Barley Lightfoot, he's being Chris Pratt. The only time I was like, he became a different character was ironically in the Lego movie where he had to play more of a doofus than a cool guy. But to be fair, I'm not really all for the hate for Chris Pratt. I think a lot of the hatred for him right now is mostly because, like you say, he is in everything. He is everywhere, and we're kind of getting sick of it. Like, he's kind of like the Johnny Depp of the 2010s and 2020s. Like,
for the most part, yeah.
Like, he's everywhere.
People get overtired of that sort of thing.
When you get overexposed to something like, say, Frozen, people get resistant to it. That's part of why I think shows like Steven Universe are getting so much hate. Sure, you can dislike the quality of it too, but you can't deny that there are a lot of people who hate it, largely because of
that's with anything that gets big. Exactly. Just when because it's popular, people don't like it. Yes.
Yeah, when things get big, there's going to be detractors. Like, guess what? Everything Everywhere All at Once is already slowly but surely getting a following of people saying it's not that great to begin with. Where I'm like, the heck with you. I've seen that film twice, and that film is just that film is amazing. I've seen the film only twice, but I return to clips of it and reviews of it. If I were to purchase the physical copy of it, I would, because it is an amazing movie, even if it's popular. But like I said, I think part of the hatred for Chris Pratt is because he is everywhere. In my opinion, I think Chris Pratt is best at playing Chris Pratt, but like you said, hopefully he turns it around, but he turns it around and actually shows that he does have talent outside of being Chris Pratt. But right now, I don't hate him. I think he's just in too much of everything. Like, when he was cast as Mario, I remember people... I think it's because...
Everybody dunked on that. Everybody did.
Even though, to be fair, unless you were Jack Black, everyone was on the same quality. Unless you're Doug Walker with Fred Armisen and saying that Fred Armisen's voice was annoying, which I say... Honestly, his voice wasn't that annoying. I've heard more annoying, but honestly, I was thinking people were going to have an even bigger hissy fit over Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. I'm like, wait, Chris Pratt as Mario is pushing it, but not Seth Rogen?
Not really, all things considered.
No, I don't see that. I thought he was doing right. But anyway.
That's me. I think it's just him being everywhere that kind of got on people's nerves. But when people cool down, maybe he can get some respect back. That's just me.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So, yep.
I got some things. Firstly, to Everything Everywhere All at Once, that I just saw it recently, and it's clever, but this is ultimately post 2020 me saying this, and I say that it's a good movie. It's not great. It's not perfect, far from it. But I can't say in good conscience it was bad. It just had some things in it that make me feel not very comfortable. This is basically me when I got my mortality set in late 2020. So I'm not as big a fan of this as one would think.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, and second thing, back to the topic of the question. To understand Chris Pratt as a whole, we gotta go back to his past a little bit, because believe it or not, Chris Pratt started out as a stripper before he got on stuff like Parks and Recreation and all that.
Well, that doesn't really affect his acting career.
I mean, that is true. I will say that, but understanding Chris Pratt then and Chris Pratt now, I honestly think he's all right, and the hate that he gets is honestly not very warranted.
Yes, and again, like we said, sometimes people hate just to be haters on stuff. Exactly.
Yeah, and also on the topic of him being in everything, that's not specifically true. I have not seen any of Parks and Recreation. I saw a scene where they were talking about the meat NATO, which I really want to make at some point. It looks like a really amazing burrito that I really want to try.
But I have a recipe online that I might show you.
Yeah, I saw a YouTube video with the recipe and all that on how to make the burrito and whatnot. But irregardless, back to Chris Pratt. I have only ever seen him in the Jurassic World series, the Lego movies, what else?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy, yes. The Mario movie, and that's it. honestly, I understand like things will honestly be a little rough, especially with Chris Pratt being like on that moment where he's like slowly transitioning over to the thing, the voice acting and whatnot. And yes, LuckyEevee, that is exactly what I'm talking about. But I don't think he's at that point yet. Granted, there are moments where I ultimately feel like he would honestly be memed out of existence, like with John Cena, sort of. I mean, John Cena's still doing voice acting and whatnot, so
sure.
that's
He
pretty
has
good.
proven himself to be a good actor with stuff like Peacemaker and whatnot. So
absolutely.
Maybe he has it in him. Like I say, I don't want to be too negative on the guy. He might generally have it in him, and we'll just have to wait and see.
But honestly, overall, I honestly feel that Chris Pratt as a whole is honestly a pretty good actor. He's a comfort actor, if that makes any sense. He's comfortable. He's what we easily recognize, and if he's done right, then honestly, I can't really say there's anything wrong with him just being a comfort pick for movies. He does it well enough.
That does make sense.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Anvery, surprise guest star?
Wait, no, hold on. Sorry.
Sorry, just
No, it's okay. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I honestly noticed him come in a little earlier, and I'm like,
Okay. No, it's no problem. It's all good. It's okay. So now it is time for the patent pending Dragoness Scale, where we rank the Dragoness in the movie, and of course this time we're talking about the Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom dinosaurs. That's the Indoraptor, Blue, Rexy, the Carnosaur, the Triceratops, and the various others. I am going to give them a collectively. I'm going to give them a 7 out of 10, and the movie itself is really just mediocre. It's not good at all. It's like maybe a 4 out of 10, but it's still better than Dominion, which we'll get to next week. But the Indoraptor and Blue are what causes it to be so high. I feel like Rexy didn't really get enough time to shine in the movie compared to some previous entries. No, I feel like the Carnosaur was just there so they could finally say, look, Jurassic World now has a Carnosaur in it. The Triceratops was nice and all, but it feels like you could have focused a lot more on it to focus on the less destructive side of the dinosaurs. But I will say the Indoraptor is easily the best part of this movie, and if you are to watch this movie, honestly, the best way to do it would be to go on YouTube and just look up a compilation of the Indoraptor scenes and maybe a few other parts, because this movie is not more than the sum of its parts, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm giving them a 7 out of 10 for that. So, Angron?
I'm still going to keep my score of 8 out of 10 for a few reasons. One, the dinosaurs make the movie worth it. Two, Blue... Let's be fair. Blue has somewhat grown on me a little bit. Yep. 3, just pretty much the Indoraptor, like you said. And 4, the emotional moments with the dinosaurs really helps their character stand out. Like, again, my previous issues with the Jurassic Park movies, like the dinosaurs not being scientifically accurate to nowadays for the most part, is what ultimately makes it a little hurt. But the dinosaurs here very much have more character, like with Jurassic World, and I very, very much want them to keep that. Like, I kind of want to see more of the dinosaurs being like actual characters than just like horror movie villains, if you know what that means. Like the Indoraptor,
I understand, definitely.
The Indoraptor works.
That could have happened to the franchise.
Yeah, the Indoraptor works in that regard, since it's like a creation rather than a legit normal dinosaur. But yeah, that sort of thing. This is where the dinosaur. Oh shit! I also like what Aspie just said. I like a film without the humans altogether. We have plenty of them. Yeah, let's be fair. Let's be fair. Like, a lot of the best movies have like minimal humans in them.
Yeah, exactly. The human drama in this movie definitely kind of drags it down a little bit. So, yeah.
But yeah,
Stryker?
that's my score. That's my score.
7
8
out of 10.
10.
Okay. Stryker?
Blue made this movie for me, to be honest.
Nice.
And she actually made me realize that velociraptors are actually my favorite dinosaur. So I'm going to give her a 10, obviously.
Wow.
Nice.
And for the rest of the dinosaurs?
The Indoraptor was also pretty high up there, but barely in the movie. So I'm going to give that an 8.
So how about the dinosaurs overall?
Yeah,
overall, the dinosaurs get a 7 because they took a back seat in this movie.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Not as bad as next week, but they still kind of do. So, Math?
Overall, a 6. Blue absolutely carries that rating. She is basically the only good thing in this. The Indoraptor, I'm gonna say this because I noticed this when Wu is talking about the Indoraptor during the auction. Wu refers to the Indoraptor as he. So I don't know if that was a misdialogue or if there's some
the Indoraptor is meant
we
to
don't
be
know about. But I am still
the
pretending it's like a female Indoraptor. The Indoraptor I like as a character, but I feel like the Indoraptor is in the wrong movie for the kind of character they made. Like I said, it's overly dramatic. It's very cartoony. This would have been great in, I think, Camp Cretaceous, or
Dino Crisis even.
Yeah.
Man, I miss Dino Crisis, honestly.
So yeah, that's why my rating is a 6, because I think the Indoraptor's in the wrong movie, and Blue is the soul-saving grace of this movie.
That is true.
Okay. Our special guest, Sharvoun.
Well, I'll come back to Matt's opinions. I agree. The Indoraptor's not really in the film long enough. Like, this would have been a perfect main antagonist. Like, I don't want a human antagonist. I want to see the dinosaurs be the antagonists, like, make them the villains. Like,
man versus nature.
Man versus nature.
Exactly. Yes.
Make a movie where it's, instead of the movie we got, and I said this before and I'll say it again, just have the film start off with them investigating an auction, and then all hell breaks loose, and then the rest of the film, because all the doors in the mansion are locked because, again, dumb oversight. The rest of the film is about them trying to escape while avoiding the Indoraptor and other dinosaurs. Like, aside from the Indoraptor, who is really cool but a little cartoony at times, like when it smiles, other times it is really effective, but not in the film long enough. Blue is also really great. Not perfect. The one time that Chris Pratt's Owen works is when he's interacting with Blue. It's really nice. And I will also give bonus points to that poor Brachiosaurus. It nearly made me tear up. Those are what put me to give this 7 out of 10, because it would have been higher if the humans just didn't keep on hogging the goddamn attention. Like, the dinosaurs are great.
The limelight, humans, but the real animals.
Exactly.
Dinosaurs are great, but first of all, the effects are not that great. They're not awful, but they're not that great. And second, and most of all, I want to see the dinosaurs. Can we just get less human characters?
Yeah. You're definitely going to be saying that about Dominion.
Also, sneak peek for Dominion. Oh, please give us less. Can you please give us less dinosaurs? Did you say give you more
Exactly. Yes. Exactly.
Exactly. Less humans, please.
Yes.
Did you say give us more humans?
Yes. Exactly. That is exactly right.
It's like it's like I discussed with Ludmilla at one time. Don't we need dinosaurs for a dinosaur movie? Dinosaurs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll give you locusts. That's a dinosaur, right?
Yeah. We're gonna talk about that next week, because that is gonna be a very unique experience. And LuckyEevee is giving a 9 out of 10 for the dinosaurs collectively.
And Anvery, what say ye?
Oh, good.
Well, I would have to give it, and this is just as a whole, the dinosaurs are definitely the best part, but as a whole for the movie, 4. It's just, for me, I've never really been impressed with Jurassic World's newest stuff, solely for the fact that it's basically just a reboot of a reboot.
Same.
And like you said, it's just like fucking humans with dinosaurs, not dinosaurs with humans.
Yeah.
Because
What
score would you give them, basically?
The dinosaurs?
Like from 1 to 10, yeah.
I'd actually give them a 7. It's going to be really hard to top.
Okay, so 7 out of 10 seems to be the most common score for this, then.
Yeah, because the original Jurassic Park was a perfect 10, and it just seemed to go downhill from there.
That's mostly because human characters in Jurassic Park did not suck. The human characters didn't suck. These human characters, while I did enjoy watching how stupid they were, they suck if we're trying to be invested in them. Like,
oh god, you want stupid humans in a dinosaur setting? Look up Primeval. Like, holy fuck.
We'll discuss that sometime on the podcast too. We definitely will get to that. So, yep. If you have any questions, or if you want to tell us how much you would pay for a dinosaur at an auction, you can email us at fierydiscourse@outlook.com. Or visit us on Twitter at twitter.com/fierydiscourse. We're still calling it Twitter. We're not calling it X.
Rest in peace, Bluebird. And I would sell my soul for a dinosaur.
Same. I'd sell my soul for a dinosaur.
Yep. So next week we are going to be finishing up Jurassic July, even though it is August. We're going to be finishing it up with the 2022 movie Jurassic World Dominion. That'll definitely be an interesting experience, to say the least.
I'm gonna need some booze after that.
Yeah, definitely. It'll definitely be a fun time. Yeah. So until then, thank you guys so much for listening, and until next week, take care.
Later, y'all.
Adios.
Adios.